Welcome to Livin' Outdoors. I am so excited to be here at Gun Talk Media in Covington, Louisiana, with some really rad people that I just met. So I'd love for you guys to introduce yourself.
I'm just happy to be called rad.
It's that 80s baby in me.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Gresham, Gun Talk Media, Range Ready.
Tabor Bright with Ruger.
And I am Chris Cerino with Range Ready and Gun Talk Media.
We're here at the Ruger event. We're launching the RXM, a brand new handgun. And tell us a little bit about Gun Talk Media and what you guys do here. I'm really excited to be using the studio today.
Yeah, so we're in our studio, in one corner of the studio. So if people aren't familiar, I mean, Gun Talk Media has been around a long time. Kind of started off with Gun Talk Radio, which is a nationally syndicated talk radio show. We do podcasts, we do TV shows, and now we have this facility. So Ruger came in and said, hey, let's do a media event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have shooting ranges. We can do everything right here on scene. We have three bays out back, and actually, I don't think anybody cares about that because they all want to know why we're here.
We're here today for the RXM pistol launch. Lots of time spent designing a new pistol to bring to the market, partnered with Magpul, and we're really excited about it.
Well, and you guys have spent actually 3 years, right?
Well, it was a long time. I don't know the exact time frame, but it was a long time.
Isn't it amazing? We kind of get to hear the behind the scenes a little bit of introducing these products, and it still amazes me how long it takes to introduce something. If you're going to have it, be right.
Right. I grew up behind a gun counter, and all these things would come in, and I would be reading about all these things, because this is prior to internet, and you look at the magazine covers and the guns come in, and then you're looking at them in the magazine, and then all of a sudden they're on your shelf, and you never really realize how long it takes to get to that point.
Yeah.
And the man hours and the people and the effort that has gone into this project is immense.
Well, I build women's clothing, so I do have an idea of the time that goes behind. Lead times for building a product and bringing it in and testing it. And I think that's a lot what we've done here. And we had a lot of media people come in. Chris, you put us through some amazing training, some really cool different tactics and techniques. And we had the torture gun. We should talk about that because the torture gun was really cool.
Yeah.
Our engineers would probably not be very happy with us right now because we do things a little differently out on the road than they do in a controlled environment.
We don't have supervision.
Well, there is that. There is
yeah.
no
We just
adult
do stuff.
supervision.
They let Tabor loose.
Yeah, so we've been putting all kinds of rounds through that. We had it off on the side range. I know you've been out there shooting it. And have you experienced exactly what we've been doing over there?
Yeah, it was a little hot. So we went in and I was told I had to put like a minimum 200 rounds through it. So we were shooting down range, shooting on steel, and I burnt my hand on the slide. And then Drake from Magpul, he came over and he had a Pellegrino water and he just dumped it on it and there's steam coming off. And I'm thinking this gun's still running.
And sometimes the torture test stuff is fun, sometimes it's silly, but it is a good example of like, okay, will the gun fail? Sometimes it's what the internet wants to see. And I think one of our guys, KJ, said, what if we set aside one gun during this whole week of media event that we're going to try to get to a high round count. And today, I'm pretty sure we'll get past 7,000 rounds on this one gun in 4 days. Yeah,
that's so cool. I kind of messed up. I went through 4 guns on the first day, and everybody gave me a hard time because it kept locking back, and I kept going, "Hey, there's something going on. Thumb ring."
Your thumb ring was hitting it.
Can you believe that?
I've never experienced that.
I know. Unless you're wearing a thumb ring.
I usually take my thumb rings off.
Well, yeah, sure.
So John actually said, I know.
Absolutely.
Because they brought me like 4 guns, and John's like, why don't you take your ring off? Never had one issue since. So I'm really glad we figured that out, that it was me and not the gun.
Especially,
the guns run.
Yeah, they ran great.
Right.
And that was something we kind of didn't talk about is the torture gun. It's been running great.
Absolutely.
So it's not
Considering we've been dipping it in a bucket of ice water.
Yeah, and not cleaning it.
Right.
But, semi-auto pistols are kind of the most, finicky, but shooter dependent of all types of guns, right? So the internet will say, oh, I shot this gun and it malfunctioned, or I shot this gun, it wasn't accurate. I'm like, well, are you accurate?
Right.
And how do you hold the gun? And You know,
Yeah.
maybe you've only shot one particular type of gun, and you don't know that a 1911 is a little bit different feel and grip and whatever. There's just, I mean, Chris, you see it every day with shooters on range ready when we're running classes.
Right, Jen, one of the things that not everybody knows is, I mean, they should know it, is that we shoot everybody's guns. Every day we're shooting something different. So when you shoot a different gun, sometimes you just got to change your hand position if something's doing something wonky. I mean, there are tons of people out there that shoot the G-pattern guns, and the slide never locks to the rear for them because they know it, they're putting their thumb on it, and they'll swear they're not putting their thumb right against that thing and hitting that slide lock lever. So you just got to diagnose it, and we figured that out with you. It was really cool.
I think I was like,
Tabor
Chris,
happy.
will you please come stand next to me and check my grip? And that's how, you know, we kind of just figured it out. But honestly, I had so much fun, and I can't even tell you how many times I heard Chris on the range say, did I mention that I really love this gun? I mean, you said that, and you just said you shoot guns all the time and different variety of them. So you've been through a lot. So I mean, that's a testament to this.
Well, I tell you what, the torture gun is a testament to all the associates and the folks back at Ruger. You know, everything we do at Ruger is kind of done it is done in a controlled environment. You know, they're cleaning between sessions, they're air cooling, they're going through this whole process. Right. Here, we're not doing any of that. We are breaking every testing rule that Ruger has internally.
And that's why the engineers are, you said they'd probably be uncomfortable with
I
us
guarantee you
doing
they're
this.
cringing. But here's the thing. People in the public, they're not doing what we're doing in the factory.
No.
They're doing the stuff that we're doing here. They are hammering on stuff. They're dropping it in water and ice and sand tests and holding it under mud, pulling out, shaking it off. And it's a testament to the associates to put this gun together because it is just performing flawlessly.
Well, and I see that too because back home I teach a lot of students and they come in and they've got a gun that's just filthy and they're like, well, you know, and they're still trying to put rounds through it and it's malfunctioning constantly. We just proved that's not going to happen with this gun. So, I mean, we had a really good time doing it.
These aren't even production guns. These are the first guns we're getting to put our hands on.
Pre-production, is that how you would term it?
Pre-production or ramp, you know, it's we go through these phases of prototyping and testing things and changing things, and then just before we build production guns, we call it ramp.
Okay.
And these are like ramp, pre-ramp. I mean, I was there 2 weeks ago when these guns that we're shooting this week were coming off the line. There's nothing cooler than that. You take a brand new gun off the line, you travel with it across country, and you put it in somebody's hands, and you see the light go on, and you're just like...
I saw your excitement when you told us to open the boxes. So when all of the media, when everybody came in, and we were sitting there the first day, and you said, all right, you're like, open your boxes. And
well,
it was...
again, for me, I'm a kid that grew up behind a gun counter. Yeah. So I've read about all of these guys, some of these guys that, you know, that have been idols of mine, you know, Mr. Gresham, you know, watching these guys all through my career, and here I am in their facility with a gun that I helped work on, and I get to tell them, open your box. Here it is. And yeah, that was a huge nerd event for me.
Oh, I love that. Chris, will you talk a little bit about kind of some of the training and the different things that we ran the gun through this week? Because it was a lot of fun for a media event to come in and really get to train, and I think everybody really enjoyed it.
Well, a lot of times when we go to these events, we just do drills. And drills are fine, but I like to give people knowledge, and I also wanted to put a lot of rounds through the gun. So I kept you guys moving. We were doing a lot of accuracy-based drills, a lot of speed drills, a lot of rapid firing. Yeah. We switched hands and shot them, you know, two-handed, weak hand. So those are the kind of drills that will cause malfunctions. You know, when we start doing rapid fire, because you with the ring thing, you'd said, well, look at my grip. And I said, your grip looks good. But then you draw at speed with stress, and your grip was not totally different, but it was different
Just
enough
slightly.
to malfunction the gun every time.
Yeah.
So that's why we do these things. We get different people's hands on them. We get them moving at speeds that are outside their comfort zone, because that's when guns malfunction. Everybody says, my gun never malfunctions. Well, yeah, when you're standing at an indoor range and you pick it up, you load it, you discharge it, it's empty, you put it back down, but you're not putting any stress in that, and you know, that those variables.
You bring
into
up a
it.
great point. So many people go to the range, stand in their booth, and that's what they shoot. When you get out amongst other shooters and the noise of shooting, and then the timer, The timer is not your friend.
Yeah.
It changes everything as soon as it goes.
And Chris standing behind your head.
Right.
Well, I was just trying to help you out. I wanted to see where you're at. I was
But
trying to
also
let you know
different
what's going
types of
on.
shooters. So we've had, I mean, gosh, we've probably had 30 different people shooting this week on the line at some point. And I mean, from accomplished competition shooters to people who've literally shot maybe like, you know, a dozen rounds in their life. And that's a great kind of test of the gun is...
Well, we have 3 new marketing associates with us this week. And combined, like you said, they maybe have shot a couple hundred rounds.
Yeah.
And Chris put them through 400 or 500 rounds each yesterday.
Oh yeah, yesterday we shot a bunch, and those drills were way above their head. They were trying to keep up, and they managed to get through it. The gun worked.
We
I
were
saw
all
so much
really
growth.
impressed.
I saw so much growth with them.
Yeah.
You know, just coming in and taking great instruction and just really learning. But then also they got to test this product that's amazing.
Well, I'll say this. This RXM, this type of gun, this size of gun, lends itself to that.
Absolutely.
It's not like people make the mistake all the time of, oh, new shooter, or it's my wife or my kid, and we're going to give them a small gun.
Right.
Those are not easy guns to shoot. This is a gun that's also not too big. It's not like you can't get your hand around it. It's kind of that medium size that a lot of people shoot well.
Absolutely. It's one of the best generic size guns platforms on the market. Because like you said, the little guns are hard to shoot and they don't fit everybody's hands. The full size guns, not necessarily hard to shoot, but again, you have short stubby hands like me, little petite hands like Jen. The big 17 size frames don't work for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, you guys get the questions all the time. We all do, because we're the gun guys and of our family and our friends. What gun should I get? I was thinking about getting a gun.
Yeah.
And generally, I mean, I don't like to give like one answer, because
Right.
if there's the guy who always says you need a this for every answer, that's not
Yeah,
true.
it's not.
But in general, a semi-automatic 9mm medium-sized pistol is probably going to be something that you're going to be
Absolutely,
comfortable
yep.
shooting.
Yep,
Well,
absolutely.
one thing too is the wheelhouse, the price too. You guys are really going to hit it on that, and I think that's something, I know it's coming out, but it's
Price is not available yet, but you were all going to be very pleased
Yes.
with it.
So Jen, the size is one thing, but the recoil impulse. What was your experience with the recoil impulse? Because I know I have my thoughts.
So I am a smaller statured woman. I'm 5 foot tall, and overall, about a month ago when I first saw the gun, and I'm again just on pictures during our summit, I was looking and I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be too big for me. That was my initial thought, and I got my hands on it. First thing, I had no issues. It fit comfortably, and then I mean, I was like, what recoil? That was kind of how I felt. There was no issues with it for me. It stayed in my hands well. And of course, like you say, grip, etc., those things all help with training. But it was just really easy to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely recoils,
Yep.
but it's a strange, soft recoiling gun.
Chris and Tabor, you guys you've been everywhere in the gun world. Is there something that you can do, or how does that work? Because, I mean, it's not like this is a new invention. It's a semi-automatic 9mm pistol. What can you do, or what makes that recoil impulse softer?
Again, I'm going to commend the associates and the team members back at the plant, because from the sales side, we hammered them. First iterations come out, no, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And we went through this, and we're adamant about felt recoil. We were adamant about trigger. We were adamant, all of it, the wall, feeling all of that, positive reset when you're shooting. And we just hammered and hammered and hammered. And this is the end result. It's the combination of the ergonomics, making sure that the slide to frame fit is excellent. The FCI fits in there in a certain way. And some of the things that came out of this gun having an FCI, the tolerance stack, it changed the dynamics of this particular platform, making it tighter, fits nicer. It's obviously had an effect on the recoil impulse. Our decision to go with the recoil spring weight we went with, all of it just fell into play perfectly.
Well, I really appreciate your guys' time today and just taking the time with me. It's been so much fun here at Gun Talk Media. Let's talk about where people can find you guys. I know you guys are really opening up for different events and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gun Talk Media, you can kind of find us across all the places you'd search, the internet, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
They have some really good YouTube videos.
Gun Talk Media. Yeah, I mean, I think our YouTube channel has somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 videos on it. So it's a lot of content. But then the training side, event side is Range Ready Studios, rangereadystudios.com. And we do run classes and events and some unique things where we work with companies to put on something that's not simply show up and throw lead down range. It's kind of special, using a lot of great gear, and Chris is teaching.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tabor, anything to add about Ruger?
I found a home.
Oh, amen to that. Chris, anything to add?
No, I'm just glad I could impart some knowledge on you, and I love to see you smile after I do.
All right, awesome. Thank you.